Hey everybody, Julie Murphy here, and I have spent the last 25 plus years as a financial planner. Highly educated, lots of degrees. My name looks like alphabet soup afterwards. And the human piece is the most important part of where we're at financially, not only in the United States where I live, but around the world. And it's time for us to blend these two worlds together. Please do me a favor. If you could subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, notification bell. It makes it so that more people who need this information can get it. I would really appreciate it because I'm here to help everybody get to a life that they absolutely love. And it's time for us to not only make choices from our smart brains, but from our hearts and our heart's desires. And often when we're making financial decisions, we're up here. We're up in that smart left brain logical, or you might be on the other end of the pendulum saying, yeah, I just don't do money because numbers and I don't get along. And so you might be in that camp where you're sitting there going, yeah, I don't even let it go up there because I just check out because I'm too overwhelmed. So why is that? So today I want to really talk to you about how to create a safe container when talking about finance. Now, this could be about creating a safe container when you're talking with your partner or your spouse. It could be a safe container when you're challenging your employer because you're not being paid enough money and you know you deserve it. And how do you do that? Or if you're the boss and you're trying to answer to somebody up top and you know the people below you deserve something more. How do you create the safe container? We don't have safe language, a safe container emotionally for any part of this. And the more I work with clients one-on-one, the more I am starting to realize that this is the crux of all, I did say all, financial challenges and financial worries and financial anxiety and financial compliance problems. It's because we don't have a safe container. And it is time for us to create that safe container financially for all of us. In the last few weeks, as people have been starting to figure out, okay, it's a new year. What are we going to do? How am I going to do this? I've realized that, and I've known this, but often we don't have this safe container because many times we're not talking to the next generation about money. We're just hardwiring our money patterns from the generation prior because of all the unsaid stuff, whether it's the parents fighting about money or not talking at all about money, or the parents having a lot of anxiety about not having enough money. Because remember, so many of our patterns from a financial perspective will come from three different things, which you wouldn't think are naturally created. And there's a great book out there by Panache Desai called "You Are Enough," and I learned this from the work I've done with Panache in terms of the fact that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are enough. And his book really goes into that. So if you've not read anything on this and you're drawn, please, by all means. And it's really important because when we feel like we're enough, when we feel like we're worthy and deserving, and we feel loved, that creates the safe container. But again, Dr. Bruce Lipton, his work in his book, The Biology of Belief, he talks about the fact that our subconscious minds, because our minds have two operating systems, one's a conscious mind, one's a subconscious mind, 97% of the time, or over 95% of the time, our subconscious mind is running the show. Meaning that when we don't have enough space in our own nervous system, emotional space, which is why I wrote the book, The Emotion Behind Money, because we have a lot of emotion behind money because our nervous systems are hijacked because we have unmet emotional needs. And this is coming from this subconscious patterning. You with me? I know this can be a bit much, but hang on here because I'm telling you, this is where the magic is. And again, I've done this over 25 years with people, and it's really the key. I don't care if you have millions. I don't care if you don't have a pot to piss in. This is exactly why your financial world is where it's at. It's about this creating a safe container. Because if we don't create a safe container, then eventually what happens is we create what I call a leaky container. The leaky container could be the fact that you didn't hold a safe container with your spouse about talking about money, and now you're getting divorced and half your money's going out the door. So there's your leaky container. It could be that you stuck your head in the sand with all the debts and commitments you have, and then all of a sudden it keeps compounding, and then all of a sudden you're declaring bankruptcy, and leaky container just went out the door. We create these leaky containers and we don't even realize it. Like, I'll find people will, they're not talking about the stuff with their spouse or their partner or their parents, and they rack up all this debt because they're creating spending hangovers. And again, you could make 600 grand a year, and I've watched people rack up $150,000 credit card debt because they're emotional spending. And then there's other people who have $5,000 credit card. Depending on your income, depends on how many zeros you can pay it off and this and that and other thing. I'm telling you, it's the exact same patterning. I watch it all the time. That you create these credit card bills and you've got this, and then you're like, oh, well, now you just cut your inheritance half because your parents bailed out their grown adult child, and now there's not money you're going to get down the road. They're all leaky containers. And we create these leaky containers because we don't feel safe, because we have emotional unmet needs. So it's time for us to start to create. I want all of us to think about, how do I create a safer container when talking about money or behaving about money? I always talk about that. It's like building a muscle. I want you to build that financial muscle. So for those of you who are parents out there, with my kids, I always wanted to make sure that they're building their financial muscle from a place of making sure that they're deciding like what stocks to buy in and why. And I guide them and I have them read some stuff. And I also want them to learn how to get free money from their employers. So I have them, deposit money in their accounts and I match it because I want them to start building the muscle of getting used and have it a safe container so they can move and learn and grow at the same time. It's like we've made mistakes, but we like beat each other up for making mistakes as opposed to, did you learn? It's okay. You made a mistake, but did you learn? Instead of, if we beat each other up for the mistakes that we've made. I remember I met this person at a networking event, and this guy says to me, I don't even remember his name. He says, yeah, I need you to talk to my wife because I got to get her to stop spending $400 on a pair of jeans. Now, many of you watching here are going, why in the hell would you pay $400 for a pair of jeans? Well, to this woman, it was important. And who am I to judge what's important to a person, what's not important? So I always try to stay in a state of neutrality. Because remember, when we're in a state of neutrality in our own nervous systems, you create the safe container for other people. Now, if you haven't watched any of my YouTube videos on how to do that, my Awaken Your Relationships with a relationship expert, Rita Hickman, she talks about how to physiologically calm your nervous system. And by all means, she's done a great job. So jump over to that playlist and check those out because she really digs down in terms of how do we do this? Well, one of the things is you have to do the work to calm your own nervous system down. And there's multiple tools and techniques. And some of them that are common to us are things like meditation and exercise and alkaline your body, eat more vegetables. Like all this calms our nervous system. Like decrease the stimulants, the caffeinated pop, coffee, tea, whatever that is. And all these things help us to reduce the activation of our nervous system. It creates the space for our nervous system to calm down, to create this state of neutrality so that we can actually have expansion and growth in our worlds. You cannot have financial expansion and financial growth if you have a hijacked nervous system. And people will say to me, like, Jewel, what are you talking about? How are these all connected? And I'm telling you, if you've ever met anyone who's uber successful, they're not like, like anxiety, and they're not like, ugh. And if they are, they're creating a leaky container. And I've seen this happen time and time again. So it's like I talk about in my first book, The Emotion Behind Money. The subtitle is Build Your Wealth from the Inside Out. Your insides need to be calm. Your nervous system needs to be calm so that you hold that safe container that allows other people to step into that container in your financial conversations, whether it's with your boss or with your spouse or with your kids or even with yourself. Maybe you're going on your own financial date night and you're trying to figure it out. But if you got all this anxiety around it and you're not opening the envelopes and you're not looking at everything and you're like, da, 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 da. Anxiety is not a neutral state of being. It's hijacking your nervous system. And when that happens, you actually make decisions from a place of reactivity as opposed to observation. All right. So it's about getting to a place of observation and neutrality so that it creates that safe container for expansion and growth. And certainly check out any other of my videos because there's lots of tips and tools of how to do that. And again, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like, notification bell, and share this because there are so many of us that are not living the life that we want to live because we don't have a financial safe container. And if you need some extra help, you can grab my book at awakenyourwealthbook.com. And that will get you the book for free. And you just have to pay for your own shipping. And if you need a one-on-one appointment and work with financial planner in my office, just send an email to info@jmcwealth.com. And we are here to help because it is time for every single one of you to live exactly the life that you want to live because you deserve it. Thanks.